driver off the deck for Corey Connors.
Here's driver off the deck for Victor Hovland.
So the driver off the deck. I know you would try this, right?
Oh my, what a shot.
Just to be able to hit it off the deck and get that thing down and fly it in running.
You have to put your foot on the gas. You pull out the driver off the deck and you put it on the green all the way up the hill.
Welcome back to another episode of Off the Deck. Today we have Mr. Tour Visor and Vibes, Derek Lanxon. Derek, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Was mentioned, I was a little under the weather last week, so just getting back into the swing of things. A little bit of warm weather here in St. Louis, so giving us a tease of hopefully spring on the rise, and so we can get back out on the golf course.
I love that. And right before you came on, what was the acronym that you used for, we were talking about how you were sick and that our kids are Petri dishes. What was the acronym you used for CDC?
Yeah, so taking our kids to daycare, my wife and I call it the Center for Diseased Children. So anytime we are picking them up or taking them to daycare, we're always coming back home with some terrible sickness.
Right. Well, I love that you have taken, I guess there's kind of a cult following, and I had to throw on a high crown visor for this recording because I would have been letting you down otherwise.
No, not at all.
But tell me the inspiration for you to start your Instagram account and just kind of how that came to be.
Man, it probably originated, I'm going to say maybe 10 years ago, a little bit more even. And before that, it was just like on my own personal Instagram, just, wearing them. I think the very first one I got, I think I've got it around here. Very first one I got was a Sugarloaf one, and you can see the sweat stains on it.
Which I want to talk about that later on. We got to talk about
it's gross. It's nasty. That I got that one and another one that was one of their more wild and crazy designs with a bunch of birds on it. And I came across Sugarloaf and was like, these are sick. I don't see them anywhere. I grabbed a couple, started wearing them out on the golf course with buddies, and one of my pals was like, dude, you've got the hair for it. Like, you can pull it off. I don't see a lot of guys that can do it. You've got it. I can't have you wear hats anymore. You have to just wear visors now. So anytime we would go out and play and I had a hat on, he would get pissed. And it just it became kind of like this, kind of like cult following that I just always had to don the visor.
Right.
Got a couple others from like Random Golf Club and Imperial, obviously, like a bunch of stuff. And then I started gathering some OG like Texas ones off eBay. So my collection.
Hold on, I got to call a full. What did you get off eBay?
Texas. So Texas
what is that?
Texas is the OG original visor. Okay. I mean, like, we're talking the OG like Sevi double Nike swoosh like OG look. Those are way back in the day. The Texas ones are what all the pro golfers used. Texas had been around for ages. I don't know when it formed, but now like the gold standard is, Imperial, Town Talk, Sugarloaf has their set. Like those are the main hitters. But if you come across Texas on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, grab them because they're some of the best ones out there. I'm sure I've got a couple of them floating around in terms of the Texas ones, so I can show you those later too.
We might need to go through the whole collection because that's actually one of the things I wanted to ask you about, which you might have just told me an answer to one question. I don't know that I knew that Sugarloaf made their own. So
I don't want to butcher like what Ian does or because I know they make their own or they work with a studio for embroidery and whatnot, but they've got all their own aesthetic. I don't know who does their manufacturing for them on the side, but they've been making visors forever, and that's how I got so attached to that brand and just loved it because of the cool aesthetic of visors, and that drew me to it with all of their unique designs, from like a camp one to like one of my personal favorites is their Star Wars one.
Oh, that's sick.
I've worn this on the golf course like maybe one time, and it's hard for me to. They have so many cool designs. It's hard for me to want to wear them out a ton.
Yeah,
because I'm terrified they're going to get ruined. But I've got some good cleaning methods to keep visors looking fresh. So It's good. It's good. I got to get wear out of them, so they can't just all hang on the shelf.
So you started the Instagram account 10 years ago, and
Yeah.
was it just to grow the love of visors? Like what did you have in mind when you created this, and then what it's become now? I mean, you're kind of a
Yeah.
guy, right?
When I first started it, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it at all. It was going to be visors, but it was like, okay, where do we go with this? So, previously at an old company I worked for, I did some digital marketing, content creation stuff, very small, and I do not consider myself an expert with a camera, editing, or anything. But I had worked with them, had some experience, so I went to a camera store in St. Louis and bought a cheap Canon T5i, started taking it out on the golf course with me to just like shoot photos and just like get more creative itch scratched, I guess.
Yeah.
Go on golf trips with my buddies, bring the camera, and a bunch of the guys were just like, dude, these are great photos. Like, you miss your calling. This is awesome. Like, keep it up. And that's when it kind of dawned on me where I was like, okay, maybe I need to start doing this more and put a little more effort behind it. And one of my best buddies, Pat, was like kind of the big driving force there, where he saw some photos I would take on the course and he's like, you've got to start taking it more serious. Like, don't just do this as a side thing. Like, actually put some effort into it and whole ass it, don't just half ass it.
Yeah.
So I took it to heart, upgraded my camera, got some more lenses, and really like sat down to try to understand what I was doing more on the golf course when I get out there, having a purpose to shoot photos. And really started like pushing more into my Instagram, into the content I was putting out. But I also wanted it to be organic, especially in this world of AI.
Yeah.
I think a lot of stuff we see on Instagram and social media becomes AI generated. And I wanted to avoid that a lot too. I wanted to keep creating organic content and build a following raw and talk with people and just like have conversations about the world of golf, visors, the cult following behind it, and then just to push my own artistic view of what I see on the golf course and behind this like nostalgic look of a visor.
Yeah. No, I love that, and I think you've certainly achieved that. I mean, the photos are great. I was scrolling through your feed again today before we got on to record.
Thanks, man.
And some of the pictures from a place that we both care deeply about, from Landmand, are special. You've got some shots of some sunsets from up top that are just too good. Like, I'm like, yeah, I need that hanging up somewhere in my house.
So it's funny you say that. That's on my list, is to get a couple of those put on canvas, because they were like so impactful and special to me with capturing them and just really being able to like, it was almost those like I took the photo and then I had to like sit there in that moment for
Yeah.
what felt like forever, and I could sit there forever. And like I said about Landman, and I know we'll get into it, it's truly heaven on earth, and I say that literally. That heaven is on this planet, and it's in a town of 500 people in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska.
Right. Right.
I'm stone cold. You can see on my face.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious with that.
Which we can jump right into that. I did want to, before we move on from visors, which we can jump around, but you kind of covered one of my questions, was who was the OG to wear the visor on tour and who kind of put the visor on the map. And I think you said Seve, but I'd be curious.
There's a few. Seve's one, and I've got a double Seve Sugarloaf visor. I've got another one from a gentleman on Instagram named Tee It Up Kicks with Chris. He did a double up Seve. Like, it's an embroidered like Seve look. It's really cool. There's Freddie Couples, and obviously Keith Mitchell, like, is the present day visor king. He's the president, the CEO of the visor. I have his Cisco visor.
And how many colors?
All the time too. Like,
you have it in all the colors?
I've got all of them. Like, it's a bad habit, but I suppose I could have worse vices.
Right.
But there's a lot. When I look back, it's the big ones. I think is like a Seve and a Freddie Couples type vibe. I just always looked at, like, even VJ Singh, like, rock the visor.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's so many guys that wore them, but, you know, they're unique, and I feel like they stand the test of time.
So I have to share a cool story, and actually, it's the fact that it just now came to me is kind of funny. I should have thought this before we recorded, but it's now the Regions Championship, but it's one of the senior majors. It's played here in Birmingham, and years ago, I was probably 12 years old. It was the Bruno's Memorial Classic, and Dr. Gil Morgan played on the senior tour, the Champions Tour. And one year after he finished his round, for some reason, I was just taking him and followed him. And I was like trying to get his glove or something. And he tosses me his Lynx visor. If you remember the brand Lynx.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And because that was a thing that was in Birmingham every year, the following year, I took that visor back to the tournament. And when he was on the driving range, got his caddy's attention. I was like, Dr. Morgan, because he was actually, I think he was an optometrist who then was good enough. You know how the Champions Tour works. They just find exemptions for people.
Oh, yeah.
But I got his caddy's attention, and I was like, you threw this to me last year after you finished your round. Can I get you to sign it? And it's probably still sitting in my parents' house somewhere in a box.
I bet it's a Texas. I'm telling you.
It probably is.
I bet it is.
But I held on to that visor forever, and that might be the first visor that I actually ever technically owned. Was one
That's great.
from a Champions Tour player. So yeah, I think of Seve, the double Nike was that went hard. They ought to bring that back.
Oh man, iconic with that. And like I love Sugarloaf's like revamp to it, how they did it, where it was essentially like they had an embroidered logo on the visor, and then they iron pressed the Sugarloaf on top of it, so you could peel the Sugarloaf away if you wanted to.
Okay.
And leave the Aero S. It was a really cool nod to the visor that Seve wore.
It
was very similar with just iron-on Nike logos. So
those were not actually manufactured by Nike.
What's that?
They weren't actually manufactured by Nike.
No,
a lot of Nike products that were on tour.
I'm sure I'll butcher the story with it too, but it was something along the lines of like, the visor he was wearing had a certain logo on it that he couldn't wear, or the brand, and he was, I guess, sponsored by Nike at the time, so they took some logos off of a piece of clothing and stitched them over his main crown visor. Yeah. So, and
they needed 2 swooshes for it to take up enough space to cover
take up all of the logo space. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So you recently posted a reel of cleaning tips, and we exchanged some messages back and forth, because that's the yellowing. Give the listeners, because I know we all have visors and even hats hanging in our closets that have the horrible sweat stains or have yellowed. Yes. How do we fix that?
So, big thing I came across, I had a bunch of old Texas and Imperial visors in this cream and white. And white and cream are always the worst culprits. I mean, you get the blues, these will do it, but you can also clean the sweat stains out of these too. Just simply washing. The big benefit with colored is just simply hand washing, soap and water will get this out, which is nice. But white is, maybe I'm a traditionalist. White and cream is like the chef's kiss when it comes to visors.
Right.
I think it looks the best. It goes with everything, but it's tough to clean. You might get a white visor, and if you're a big dude like me who sweats your ass off in the heat of St. Louis summers when it's 95 and it's 100% humidity, that visor could get ruined one day on the golf course,
right?
Which sucks. So the big thing I came across, I started using like fabric cleaners, other things. Bleach doesn't do it. Bleach makes it worse. So don't try that. The big thing I came across was a brand called Folex carpet cleaner. So having pets at the house, I bought some carpet cleaner on like Amazon and was like in the laundry room one day, cleaning up some visors, and I saw it and was like, let's try some of this carpet fabric cleaner on one. So sprayed it, got it like sopping wet, basically like dripping wet. Set it in the sunshine. You got to set it in the sunshine because the heat helps activate the chemical in it to kill some of that. So what I did is I opened my front door. My front door faces the sun, sprayed it down, set it on my front door, like on my front porch rug, in the heat of the light coming through. And I was like, whoa, this killed like almost 60-70% of the sweat. So I was like, all right, hold on. I grabbed a bottle of hydrogen peroxide, mixed up a concoction of the Folex carpet cleaner and some hydrogen peroxide in a spray bottle, sprayed it on there, put it back, used a toothbrush to get into like that crown groove.
Yeah.
Because that's where you'll get a lot of sweat buildup. Use an old toothbrush on some of that, set it in the sun, boom, good as new. I'm not kidding. Like amazing. Yeah. And like, if you go back, you could link the reel that I shared of that. It was night and day difference. You can look at it. It was wild how yellow it was. Terrible. And I can't believe how well it turned out. And it became like my go-to for visors now. So
that's awesome.
it's the secret sauce.
And what was the name of the cleaner again?
Folex, Folex.
Okay.
It's a white. It's just a white bottle with purple letters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I've got a few visors now. Will it take care of rust or no?
It won't do rust. Sadly.
Okay, because that's one of the things that's kind of a downside to the Imperial style. I don't know if Sugarloaf and the others are the same, but
yeah, the Sugarloaf's all the same with the metal clasp. It's an unfortunate thing. Biggest tip I would say with that is just try to avoid getting the band heavily wet or dry them out as quick as you can to avoid the rust. Sometimes, especially on a rainy day, it gets soaked. It happens.
Right.
The rust will be there, but it gets the rust spots out, but it won't fix the rust on the metal itself. So.
Okay.
No.
So in terms of visor count,
oh God,
your wife may not want to listen to this episode.
Yeah, she's upstairs.
How many do you have?
I'm gonna say right now, I've got probably 60 hung up here in my office.
Okay.
I have another 30 sitting on my shelf there. I probably have just under 100.
Okay.
There's probably a couple more out in the garage. There's a couple in the truck that are like the daily drivers.
Right.
But yeah, it floats around about 90 to 100 right now.
and in that 90 to 100, which one would be your most prized possession?
I'm gonna have to get up and get it.
Okay.
Hold on. So this is one that I have to give a shout to Joe from Gimme Golf for hooking me up with this too. He sends me a bunch of Texas ones, but he turned me on to a brand on Instagram, and I was able to snag a vintage Rolex visor. This is my pride possession. It's a little yellow just from wearing it a lot. This is another Texas one. So there's that Texas OG logo.
Yeah.
This is probably my pride possession. Especially in the condition I got it in, because most of the Texas Rolex ones you find on eBay are going to cost anywhere from, I'm going to say, $100 to $150, and they're in terrible shape.
That's incredible.
Terrible shape. Yeah. I think I got this one for maybe 60 or 70.
Okay.
And it was in unbelievable shape. So, like, it looks like it had never been worn. So that's probably my biggest pride possession one, just because it's like, it's such a classic. The Rolex is such an iconic logo.
Yeah.
It's a Texas, so it's just OG. Yeah.
Was there a player that wore that?
I'm sure there was. I bet I could look it up, but I can't think of somebody that would come to mind right now.
Yeah. Hey, ChatGPT, find the golfer. Tell me what golfer wore the Rolex visor in the 1970s.
Yep. And I always try to stay in the loop, because the same company that I got this from, I believe it's Stylish Golf, if I recall correctly. He throws up a lot of like vintage sweatshirts and quarter zips. And every once in a while, he'll throw up a vintage Rolex sweater, like crew neck sweater.
Oh gosh!
But it's always not my size, because I'm like a 2X guy, big broad shoulders. Like it never would fit me. So I'm like, I can't do it. So
that's really cool.
That stays.
That would be a great pull, because I knew just with your collection that there had to be one that was like, this is my pride and joy. That's pretty solid. And now that I see that Texas logo, I can confirm that the one that Gil Morgan threw me at that tournament was a Texas. Yeah.
Knew it. Do
That's
it, man.
I got to go find it at my parents' house.
Yeah, there's a couple I've got that are, like really like close to home. I've got like a Metro Amateur Golf Association for St. Louis. The Star Wars one is really cool from Sugarloaf because that was like a very limited run. I can't remember if they did 12 or 24 of these.
Oh,
Like
whoa.
there's very few of them out there, and honestly, like a lot of the Sugarloaf ones, I try to grab because they there's a few they do reruns of, but a lot of their like special print ones like that are kind of limited. Um, so it's tough, and like I just got a Tyler Munns, an Instagram friend at Fade
Yeah.
and Fairway, sent me, a stack of like 8 of them last week. He said he was trying to clean his closet out, and I was like, dude, send him to a good home. I'll take him off your
Right.
hands, and
We've had
they're
Munz on the
all
show.
like
Munz is
really
great.
sick logos. Yeah. So I want to keep them there. For me, they never go out of style. They will always get worn. Yeah. So it's tough to really like sit down. There's just some really good ones too. Especially because like some of the prints that like Sugarloaf does, like there's some fishing ones. So like if I'm fishing in the summertime, I'll throw on one of those and go catch some bass. It's great.
I love that. We are so down the path that I wanted to go with on this episode, like because I wanted to just like, hey, you just tell me everything about visors, and we have certainly gone down that path, which I love.
Heck yeah.
So you mentioned Gimme Golf Club. You're in St. Louis. What is it like? I mean, I don't know that I'm envious that you have that in your backyard, but for the listeners that aren't familiar with Gimme Golf Club, soup to nuts, what is Gimme Golf Club and what's it like being a member there?
Man, it's everything that I think the golf world needs in a metropolis area like a St. Louis, Cincinnati, Louisville, wherever. It's everything that you need to find like a group of like-minded golfers from all different walks of life that want to get out on a golf course, hit balls, make jokes, laugh, throw back a couple drinks, and have a good time. There are serious golfers in Gimme Golf Club that really want to go out there, shoot a great score. There's other guys that want to go out there and have a laugh. And I love that because I fall into like that middle group, I think, between two entities. I consider myself a fairly decent golfer, but I am much more the type like I want to go out there and just vibe on the course and shoot photos and just have laughs. And Gimme has that in boatloads. I'm an Illinois guy, so I'm St. Louis, but I live just across the river in Illinois. I want to consider myself maybe one of the first Illinois guys that was a Gimme Golf member. I've probably been a member for 5 years, so just about since its inception. Once it started to grow,
Yeah.
And for me, the reason I joined was because there's a golf course here in North Edwardsville, Alton area called Spencer T. Olin. Used to be owned by the Winchester Firearms Group, the Olin family. It's an incredible muni golf course that is an Arnold Palmer track. It's got a ton of variety, really good challenging holes. It's got some length. It's walkable if you want to. There's some hills that make it a little tougher, but it's a walkable track, and it's like usually $40 for that
Can't
place.
beat
And
that.
it's a sick track. It's wonderful. When Gimme added that to their network, and I'll get to like their network piece. So Gimme has a network of right now, I think it's 14 courses within the St. Louis metro area that members, we pay to Gimme to help kind of push to these courses to give us access. And for us to be able to have access to these courses whenever we need, especially like during the week, is so nice. There's a lot of guys in Gimme that are police and firefighters. Like when they work that shift schedule off during the week, it gives them a ton of ability to go out and play tracks, and to have a lot of muni access on the Illinois side. There's a little bit more country club private access on St. Louis. It gives Missouri and Illinois guys a good flavor of golf and coming to the Illinois side for some tracks. And for me, when Spencer T got added, it was just like a no-brainer for me to join Gimme. It was like, Spencer's in my backyard. I can go play this twice a month, and my membership with Gimme pays for itself. I'm already playing this course twice. Why not play it more?
Yeah.
You know, and then as they started to expand that network of courses, it just was a no-brainer. They built the addition of the South House, and they expanded in the OG house in St. Charles. Um, you know, you go up to any one of the clubhouses at any day of the week, and there's guys up there that you can just shoot the shit with and talk sports, talk life. Hell, you could go up there and work if you wanted to. For anybody, like I work from home, I could go up to OG or South House and pull up my laptop, take a couple meetings, hit some balls in between calls if I wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice like to have this environment, and I think Robbie would attest, because I think he shared this post about having the Gimme members having what they call the third place, or third home, of having somewhere like outside of your work, outside of your house, and like having this other clubhouse or extension of you that you can go to let off steam, to gel and talk and hang with other people. And it's really been that. And just the expansion through OG has been so cool. What started out as just essentially hitting bays and a putting green now has lockers for the members. It has a barber shop. It has a full bar, in an event space, essentially. Like, it's been so cool to see this grow, and to see what started out as what Kyle Walton always calls the little club that could, is really cool to see it grow and evolve. And I fully support and am behind what Kyle, Kenny, K2 are doing within the St. Louis area to build that golf scene, because it's really cool to just see this evolve and expand into member events, member guest events. They had fall ball, a couple months back, and fall ball is a random draw alternate shot on the simulators in the
God,
clubhouse.
that's brutal.
It sounds brutal, but it's like my favorite event of the year. It's wild to think that, but like some of the relationships that I got from some guys at Gimme are some of my closest friends still today. Shout out Joey Julius from our first round. My very first event with Gimme was the alternate shot fall ball, 3-4 years ago. So to meet some of those guys, and then like we went to Landmand with this big group of Gimme guys, and guys I knew through the club but didn't get to like spend a week of time with, and then I got to, and it was just the most surreal experience on the planet, and just the warmest, friendliest company that you could ask for. Yeah.
That's that's quite the pitch. I mean,
it's really hard to like put into words. Gimme is, their mantra is everyone only, and I seriously, like, I live by that. I've had this bracelet on since I joined the club a long time ago. It's true. Like, it really is that. Gimme is more than the sum of its parts. Like, there's so many different walks of life and walks of golfers in that club. From one club, Keith, who joined Gimme with a 7-iron, like, to now having, like, being one of the OG members, and to now that then there's guys that come in that are plus handicaps. It's like so many walks of life, so many different varying people that in different jobs in areas of their life, of guys that are retired. For myself, who's in his mid-30s, like different times in our life as well, but being able to be a part of this club is so unique.
That's very cool. And I follow a handful of guys from Gimme. I mean, you, Cody, Kyle, Birch, all people that I've interacted with, mostly at Landmand, but all great guys. What looks to be some of the most fun, and you kind of hit on it a little bit, are the events, because y'all do events that are on sims, and it's like a full-on member guest on simulators. How does that work?
Man, it's intense. So not this year, but last fall ball, I was with Jonathan Birch, another member of Gimme, and what's crazy is he has a left-handed and right-handed driver, so that threw me for a loop right out of the gate.
So if one's working, we leave the other one in the bag, and vice versa?
Pretty much, like, one's a bomb driver, the other's like we're going to keep it in play.
So just full-on switch hitter?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Loved it. It was so sick. But, like, and it's crazy. Like, obviously there's you have 3 sims going on, so you'll have your pods of teams that are playing. The other 3 are kind of in break mode, or we're doing putting contests for knockout for extra points. So you're able to survive and play knockout in the putting on the putting green. You get extra points that help you into the shootout.
Okay.
So
That's cool.
there's a little more stake in the game when
No downtime.
there's no downtime. I mean, yeah, you can crush a sandwich and a beer, but you still got to be a little bit in it.
Right.
And like for Jonathan and I last year, we got into the shootout. So like there was one team of each bracket, and then 2 wild card teams that got into the shootout, and then it's pressure's on, and your heart rate goes up a little bit. Like you're standing on the tee box at
Right.
the Waste Management Open, and you're Hideki, and people are calling you names in the background and make
Dropping
you step
chairs.
off the ball.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little wild. It gets a little intense. I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't have. I would have loved to see like a whoop and see what my heart rate was sitting in there. And it's on a sim. I'm not even outside.
Right.
But you've got when there's 8 teams and you've got 100 members behind you cheering, clamoring, breathing down your neck. It's a different ball game. And even though it's a sim, it steps you up a little bit of like, how do you handle that pressure? Jonathan and I last year fall ball finished 4th overall, which was awesome. I loved it. I was like, and I always go into those events of just like 0 expectations. Like, let's just go out.
Yeah,
And I think more folks should do that, of just 0 expectations, go out and enjoy the event. Cause that's what it's supposed to be, of just getting to party with this group of guys all day, guys and girls all day, throw drinks back, talk shit, meet and get to know more individuals that I might never have come across if it weren't for Gimme.
Yeah.
And I, like some of my closest friends through Gimme, like I've been met through Gimme. A guy like Mark Langford, who I had talked to on Instagram for years until getting to finally meet him through Gimme. And Mark is just one of like the nicest guys on the planet, an incredible dude behind a camera. And guys like him will forget more about shooting photo and probably golf, because he's an incredible golfer as well, than I will ever know. So it's just like really cool to meet some of those individuals. And those events are just top notch.
Very, very cool. How do y'all handle the putting in that event?
So putting for like the indoor ones is always like within the Gimme circle, because they always, on sims, they call it cartoon golf. So a lot of sim stuff. When they have skins night, you'll have to putt out, skins and stuff on the putting green, which gets a little intense too. When, you got Kyle and his camera focused right on you, or his phone right on you, and you got to sink a putt. So it gets a little heavy. It's Wild West out there, and they get rowdy. There's rowdy nights with league night, skins night, and events. It's really cool. I know coming up we'll have Spring Fling for Gimme, which is the spring member outdoor event. That's probably between Fall Ball and Spring Fling are my 2 favorite events of the year.
Okay.
That one's just such a fun event. I played with Mark Langford last year, and it was really cool because we were able to knock off some like really good teams to keep them out of the shootout. So it was just a lot of fun to like get to vibe with a Gimme guy like Mark, and just like get to just gel with him more. Cause I wish I could play more golf with him, but he's got a job and a lot of it behind a camera, and getting to travel to some cool places. So
that's awesome. Well, I have not been fortunate enough yet to visit Gimme, but I'm going to change that.
You gotta get up, man. Let me know. We'll set up a day up there, man.
I would love that. So outside of Gimme, what does the golf scene look like around you in, I guess, right outside of St. Louis in Illinois? What is there other than that course you mentioned that you play as a Gimme member?
Yes,
what else is there?
Yeah. So it's interesting. I've joked like Missouri and Illinois has this weird split, and sometimes I feel like there's like this invisible wall of the Mississippi River that splits it. And I notice, and it goes both ways. There's a lot of times like I'm guilty of not wanting to go to the Missouri side just as much as I have friends on the Missouri side. They don't want to come to Illinois to play golf.
Okay.
Missouri, I will say, has much more private golf scenes, a lot of country clubs, which is not a bad thing. I'm not anti-country club by any means, but I'm a Muni guy at heart. It's what I grew up playing. I've never been a country club guy, but has a lot more country clubs on the Missouri side. has a lot of good old school muni tracks that were previously country clubs too.
Okay.
So like a Ballin, for example, Ballin Golf Course used to be a country club long time ago. Now is a public track, and I think it's very slept on. It's in the Gimme network, which is great for Gimme members, myself, to get out and go play this really kind of old school track. Like kind of tucked back into a neighborhood, but it still has some of like these old bones of what you would see from like a country club track as well. But then you come to the Illinois side, and it's muni tracks as far as the eye can see, outside of two country clubs, St. Clair Country Club and Edwardsville and Sunset, up here. So a lot more muni on this side of the river, which
Okay.
I think you can also see that within the network list for Gimme. There's a lot of Illinois courses, particularly in the northern Metro East side, so Edwardsville, Alton area up here. And there's some really good hidden gems. But between like a Spencer T and a Gateway National is the one a lot of folks always want to play. But I really think like there's so many tracks you can't go wrong with like a Forest Park. I love Forest. I'm a big fan of Forest Park. You get right into the city. Unfortunately, when they had like the big storms that rolled through last summer, a lot of stuff got damaged, but I want to say it's almost kind of been a blessing in disguise. There's a silver lining there. A lot of trees got taken out. I heard a rumor they had taken out like 100 trees in Forest Park, and it's opened up the entire golf course. They
Yeah.
have 3 nines. You can see across the whole property now to like really see more landscape of the course. It's really cool. I get it where some folks are terrified to be around cars and people walking and running.
Right.
It's a little crazy because like you'll be like hitting a wedge shot and there's a guy like walking his dog across the fairway. Like
Okay.
it's just,
Oh,
but it's
okay.
like
So
it's
like
kind of
that.
cool. Like it's just a different environment of golf,
Yeah.
and I love that city aesthetic. I grew up and I went to St. Louis University, so like I was right down
The
the road from
Rookies,
Forest
right?
Park. The Billikens.
Billikens. God, that was a big miss.
And shout out Billikens right now, AP 18, men's basketball. Shout out
Y'all
my
always a
Bills.
tough out in the tournament. Always a tough out in the tournament.
Hey, I know. We'll
Always a good
see. So
sneaky 8-9 seed. Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see how they can do this year. They got some tough tests ahead on some road games. So,
Okay.
but being a SLU guy, like Forest Park was right down the road from me. So like it's just like really cool to kind of get back into that scene and see the golf course out there. You go out west, and you have stuff like Aberdeen and Peevely Farms and Crescent Farms. Like those are muni tracks that are a little more upscale in price, but I think they're so worth the drive to get out and check them out. But then like I play league night at a little muni track in Collinsville called Arlington Greens. And I have a visor from there from way back in the day when it used to be a pipe fitters course. Like it used to
Wow.
be owned by the union and the pipe fitters only played it. And it's like this really, I don't know, probably a lot of people think it's a dog track, but like it had some of the best greens around, I would say, last year. Like it was in such good shape, and I loved playing it because it was for me to get out there on Mondays with guys I work with and, just play league and just shoot the shit, throw back a beer or two and
Right.
have fun. And that's
And is
that's
that
what I love, like some muni tracks too.
league night through Gimme?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
No, that's a
Okay.
separate one. That's a separate one with just a bunch of good buddies. There
Okay.
are a couple Gimme guys that are in that live on the Illinois side that are in that group with us.
Okay.
So it's just a good mixed bag of guys.
That's very cool. Yeah, I have not checked off the Missouri box for playing golf yet. I've got Illinois, but we can also add some additional check marks to Illinois. I'm
Yep.
trying to play golf in all 50 states.
Oh, heck yeah.
And Missouri's one that I have not gotten yet. So I need
do
to.
have another little like hidden gem in this. My buddies would probably like, punch me in the gut for sharing this type of thing. But one place that's really slept on for like golf trips is Lake of the Ozarks. I know a
Okay.
lot of people want to go to Branson. A lot of people want to go to Branson because you have Big Cedar and the
Yeah.
Big Cedar courses.
Yeah,
which
Paynes
is
Valley and all
awesome.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, Paynes, Buffalo Ridge, Branson Hills, like all these really nice courses. Lake of the Ozarks is very slept on in terms of their muni golf scene.
Okay.
You have tracks like Old Kinderhook and Lake Valley that are right across from each other. You can do stay and play packages and get out of there with a big group of guys, lodging and golf for like under $600.
Whoa.
I'm telling you right now, we do a big like group of work guys. We do a big Ryder Cup trip down there. This will be our 8th year doing it. We have 16 guys going this year, and it's like going to be like sub $600 a guy. I mean, it's like
for golf and
these are
lodging.
golf and lodging. Like, and this is
You can't beat
look
that.
at my Instagram. I have photos from there too. It is an incredibly beautiful course that is so slept on in the Missouri Valley area. Like, it's so pure down there. Like, I think an average round on Old Kinderhook runs maybe 95 to $120,
Okay.
and it should cost upwards of that, I think. And Lake Valley across the street is even better if we want to get really low key of like underdog diamond in the rough courses.
Yeah.
I love it because it is a 6-6-6 par 3, par 4, par 5 variety. You have a ton of variety for every stretch of golfer, from a plus handicap to a 20 over handicap.
Okay.
And I'm talking short par 5s, short par 4s, like a ton of variety in tracks that give you a really cool look. And Lake Valley is one of the best around.
Okay. Lake
So
of the
I got to give
Ozarks.
shout out to those guys, because that track has just gotten more and more elevated every year we go. And it's one of my like favorite spots to be.
Okay. I will definitely have to check that out, because that's, I mean,
So
for you to say
gotta
that
share that, because I'm telling you, Missouri golf gets, or Lake of the Ozark golf gets swept under the rug when you have a big cedar at your disposal.
Yeah.
So I just try to tell people, like, don't sleep on Lake of the Ozarks. There's a lot to do down there, and in terms of golf, you have a ton of variety outside of Old Kinderhook and Lake Valley. You have the Old Tantera course and the Cove and the Ridge if you want to like even get cheaper. So
Okay. So there's a lot. How many courses total are there?
you have the Oaks, the Cove, the Ridge, Deer Chase. There's another one called Indian Mounds. I've never played it, but it's a little like off the beaten path. I don't think it's
Okay.
that great, but I don't know. But then Old Kinderhook and Lake Valley.
Wow.
Those are all
okay.
the
So,
muni
yeah.
public courses. You do have a private one down there called Portachima. That is another, I think that's through 4 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. But Portachima is supposed to be like really nice too. So
Okay. And that probably opens up when, like March,
So
April? What's your season
we
like?
are when we go down there. So our trip this year is in June. We will pencil it in for the following year when we're down
No, I
there.
mean like the season, like your seasonality.
Their golf
Yeah.
season opens up March
Okay.
1st, if I'm
Okay.
not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah, because it's, I mean, and where I am in Alabama, like we can almost play year round, but like
Yeah.
I haven't played outside in a month and a half just because it's been
Yep.
kind of weather. So,
Yep.
but we get those warm snaps where it's like, hey, grab the clubs, let's go.
Yep. Yeah, and there's been talks of like some guys going to do that next week for Gimme. Unfortunately, one of the Gimme courses, Eagle Springs, looks like it's closing here in St. Louis. So I think a lot of Gimme guys were trying to get a Gimme day out there next Wednesday to
Oh, closing for
get a
good.
bunch. Yeah, get a bunch of leaving for good. Like I guess they've lost their lease or something. So then this is another cool thing with Gimme is like we'll have guys that like see something like that happen and organize a day to get out and get 30 golfers out there to go play it one last time and
Yeah.
treat the course, the staff right, buy some merch, or you know, spend a little bit of money just to like one last hurrah. And I
Yeah,
think
send
that's
them off
really
right.
cool.
That is
Yeah.
cool. That's very cool. So early on, you mentioned Heaven on Earth, which is Landmand. Tell me what first went through your mind the very first time that you stepped out from that bar up top and laid eyes upon Landmand.
Breathtaking, if I had to put it into one word. It's really weird. You don't know what to expect because Homer, Nebraska is a town of 515 people. If I'm
I think that's right.
accurate there.
Yeah.
I think maybe Sam Kincaid or Will Anderson will correct me there, but
Right.
it's a town of about 500 to 550 people. There's not really much there aside from a bar, a high school, and nothing but farmland for as far as the eye can see. You get off of the main highway and it is rock roads. So prepared to get your car dirty. And if you don't know where you're going to find Landmand, you will drive past and miss it because
Yep.
the sign that tells you it's Landmand is all of about this big.
Yeah.
It's
The size of
about
the
a
7 index
12-inch by
card.
12-inch
Yeah.
piece of plywood,
Right.
which is really cool. And then you wind up this rock road, and then you see a tire that says up, and then you see another tire that says top, and it really starts to put things into perspective. And you see the cart barn first, and the clubhouses down the hill, and then you get up to the top to where is a very quaint and almost architecturally pleasing clubhouse. Kenny Henriksen, K2, said it best from Gimme, because he's an architect by trade. He said what they did with their clubhouse from his eye is so pleasing because it maximizes the space they have. You walk inside and it is bar, and they have a little wraparound corner of merch and a ton of drawers to pull out. Like, you can just keep pulling drawers and find more and more merch. And it's so condensed and compacted into this almost like a 15 by 15 building. And it's so well organized and kept. Perfect wraparound patio with a massive, massive putting green that connects to 18,
Right.
which is hilarious.
Right.
And so immediately you get out there and you're just stunned at the sheer size of the property. I think is like, that's why I say breathtaking. I didn't know what to expect until I got up there, and then you see it, and it was hard to put into words. And I think the first thing I did, it sounds silly, the first thing I did was I looked back at where I came from, down the hill.
Okay.
And I looked back towards like Homer and down across the farm fields. And it was really cool, especially at night, being up top, because you could see the lights from Sioux City
Yeah.
across. And it was like, really took you out of the element of like, you were in the middle of nowhere. It was pitch black. The only thing you could really see was lights from like wind farms out in the distance.
Mhm.
It was like really cool to be there. And just that first view is breathtaking and otherworldly. I almost felt like I was on another planet in a sense.
That's very relatable. Yeah, because I've tried to explain just the vastness of it, and words
Yes.
don't do it justice because it is so big. I mean, and you can
Yeah.
see the little snack shack. I guess it's right
Farmer
by.
stable. Oh,
Yeah.
you mean at after hole 7.
Yeah, after 7. Yeah, I was gonna say it's either 7 or 8 right there because 7 has the green that's just gnarly.
Yeah, oh my gosh,
And
crazy.
then 8's that just incredible par 3, one of the best par 3s I think I've ever played. And you're standing at the bar looking out towards number 1 and number 18, and you see that shack that looks like it's 10 miles away.
Yes.
And I'm like, and I remember taking some friends, it was their first time. I was like, hey, I want to walk out here and point out something to you guys. I was like, that's still on the golf course. And
Yep.
they were like, wait, I'm sorry, what? Like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, and that's just number 7.
Yep. That stretch after the halfway house snack shack,
Yeah.
that par 3, the downhill par 4, and then the punch bowl.
Yeah, number
That
10.
is my favorite. That's my favorite stretch of holes I think I've ever played in golf. I think specifically
Corn
the punch bowl's
Corner, I
really
think?
cool, but the corner, yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Corner
the
or something.
corner. Yeah, and I love it because it really helps you feel the expanse of the property. And it makes you feel like you're really out there. And like, I know the theme of Landmand is up top, but then you get out there.
Right.
And that's what was so cool to me. And I constantly kept finding myself looking. I would, after a tee shot, and every tee shot looks majestic there because it's just like, you just want to look around and everything is so aesthetically pleasing. But I felt like every time I got to a green, I was constantly looking backwards at where I came from.
Okay.
And it was really weird, like hard to put into perspective of like hitting this tee shot or, oh my God, like I hit it into a terrible spot there. Like, I can't believe I was able to get up and down, like, and really start to like hone in on the course and the vastness and the undulations and everything. Yeah. It was just so surreal. You know, and you mentioned like the short par 3 that plays 95 yards.
And
Like, I saw guys, like, I was playing it one day with like a 56-degree wedge. And then I was seeing other guys play it with wind into with like a 5-iron. And
Oh,
like,
gosh.
I saw one guy hit like a 5-wood into it. And I when I talked to Will Anderson, Rob Collins, he was like, every time I go up there, he goes, I hit a putter on it. He's like, I take all of the wind out of it, and he just hits a putter down the hill. I was like, this is incredible. Like, why didn't I think of that? Like,
so I think last time I played it, I actually chipped something short and tried to keep it low and just run it up because I knew, and it wasn't because of any necessarily wind issues. It was just that green is so diabolical that I think you have to hit a damn near perfect shot or you're in one of those bunkers. And if you're in one of those bunkers, you're dead.
I learned that the hard way day one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Day one, I can't remember I shot. It was like a 95 or something. And it was like, that course ate me alive. Like, and I think I learned my lesson because it was like, for me, my game has never really been to hit driver off the box. I'm just not, that's where I lose strokes is with my driver. So it's day two, it was like, I'm going to hit irons off tee, try to keep things in play, be a little bit more strategic and, intentional with what I'm doing. And it saved me a lot of headache. Like, I think like day one, hole one, it was that long par 5,
right?
To really get your blood boiling. And I think I hit my third shot onto the green, and then I putted off down the hill.
Oh gosh!
And it was like I think hole one, it was like I triple bogeyed. It was like, wow, we're starting off great. Like,
yeah. And it's not exactly like a warm handshake from there to number two, because number two is a blind tee shot.
Yes.
And if you go at all right, that ball might be gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very fun golf course because of the strategy that you can apply. If you want to play smart on that golf course and just kind of take your medicine, I think you eliminate a ton of the trouble. But it also presents lots of opportunities of, hey, no, I'm absolutely hitting driver here because there's a speed slot down this side, and if I catch this slope correctly, it's going to be miles down there. But
punch bowl. I always think punch
exactly
bowl.
Right.
There's
exactly
like that big speed slot off to the right.
Yeah, and if you go over that corner, you're gonna have a great look at that green. You'll be able to see the pin because it's a great example, like you just mentioned, the punch bowl number 10. If you're on the left side of that fairway, you cannot see the flag.
No, I had been there, and like probably day one, day two, even like learning my lesson of like, or you maybe pull a drive, and it's like, I am now hitting I have to hit a blind approach shot. Now, thankfully, with the punch bowl, you can get away with overswinging or clubbing up and letting it fly beyond and come back.
Right.
But it's still a lot of unnerving shots. And especially like I'm a guy who I love playing courses I've never played before.
Okay.
And that was a test because there's a lot of danger out there that is unassuming, and it takes playing that course once or twice to finally start to understand where you need to hit shots.
Right.
And it makes it so fun and enjoyable to see a guy like Rob Collins or a Will Anderson play it and see how they approach the game on that.
Yeah.
Because their style is totally different.
Right. Right.
So
I need to see if I can catch a loop around it at some point with Rob.
And I think this past year too, and I would assume Rob does it probably every year, but when we were there, like Rob's a big guy. He was I think he walked it one day too, which
sounds right.
Like, yeah, he's an animal. Like,
yeah,
and he's just such a great guy to talk to. Like, hear his thought process on some of it. Like, I think he had mentioned to me he typically doesn't chip around any of the greens. He putts, which is another like that baffled me. Like that just like. Like normal approach, Midwestern guy, like I would never do that, like around these muni tracks.
Yeah,
like that's suicide. But there, it's like a really it's so manicured, it's so well done that you can do that, and the greens are just so quick that it's to your benefit to do that, just to control pace and keep you in play. It's really cool.
Well, like you said, putting it off the green on number 1.
Yeah,
there are multiple greens out there that you can easily putt it off of if you're not paying attention. I mean, I think about 7. I think about 17. I'm trying to think of other holes that have false fronts. I mean, even the green on 8, like we were just talking about that short par 3.
Yeah,
that is just hell on earth.
It is.
If you're putting downwind and you give a little too much, you might roll into a bunker, and
Yes.
that's it's like I'm gonna
Yeah,
lag it to like 3 feet, and then I'll
I'm
be
pretty sure I was in a bunker day 1, day 2, and I like chunked a wedge the third day, and I was like so happy because all I had to do was like bump and run one onto the green. Then it's
right.
like I'm fine. I'm not in a bunker. That's all I wanted.
So the times that you've been to Landmand, was Old Dane open or was it under construction?
No, still under construction. It
Okay.
was. I will say it was really cool to see that being worked on when we were there.
Yeah.
Um, I'm excited to potentially get to see that in the future too, because it just sounds like that is going to be a really, really cool type of course. Especially where there's no designed routing. It's like 3 holes out and back and different varieties. So like, and I think it's only 12 holes if I'm not
Yeah, it's
mistaken.
gonna be 12
So
holes.
I think that's going to be
And
super cool to like a totally different type of golf to play.
right, right.
Um, that's and I love quirky courses
Yeah.
like that. You
So
know,
it was open when I went to my first trip to Landman. It was open, and we didn't have a tee time till like noon, and we
yeah,
had gotten there the day before, and looped probably 3 or 4 times around the
that's cool.
Dane. And they've got Sims there. The food was killer. We met some of the staff because it's the same people, right?
Yeah,
And I'm going back to Landman in July with a group of guys,
that's
and
awesome.
I've got fingers crossed. I've talked to whoever runs the Old Dane Instagram account. They claim that they think they will be open by July 11th. And so I've already told our group, I'm like, guys, if that place is open on July 10th, we are going to lap that. I mean, just over and
Yep,
over and over again, because King Collins Dormer obviously is doing the renovation there.
yep,
But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a blast. So
yeah,
you absolutely, if it's anything like the 9-holer was, that was just kind of which was a blast. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when they're done with this renovation.
for sure. Yeah, and like you talk about the staff too. Like I got to give a shout out to the staff at Landman as well. And I think partially I gotta blame K2 because he went there 2 years in a row and got a flat tire in his vehicle and then a flat tire in my vehicle.
Okay.
So I think he's a little bit of a black cat, but I still love him. But we were out there in the last day and we're in the parking lot and there's a screw in the tire of our car. And one of the guys in the cart barn was like, "Hey, don't worry about it. I'll get the spare through on your rental. Go play your last round."
That's cool.
So I we were there helping him out and get like clearing out some of the gravel so he could slide a floor jack underneath and
Yeah.
stuff. But for him to go and do that, like he knew we were out there trying to play golf and take it in one last time before we went to the airport.
Yeah.
He was like, "Don't worry about it. Like I'll get it taken care of. Go play your golf. Enjoy the day." And I was just like, that really hit me
Yeah.
right in the feels. I was like, that is so incredible to have that type of hospitality and like everybody there was like such a collective family. It was so cool.
Yeah. I can attest to that. We experienced something similar this past summer. They got the most rain they'd ever gotten in like the last 3 years the night before we were supposed to play. And Sam tells me that we're delayed. He's like, and can't let you out with carts. So you got to start
Yep.
walking, which, as you all have heard us talk about, would be a brutal walk for a full 18. And we were playing 36.
Whew.
And we get
Get
through
your steps in that day.
yeah, we get through like I think we're on like 12 or so. And I see a just entourage of golf carts heading my direction. And everybody that was on staff that day had all individually gotten in golf carts and they were driving carts out to us. And
That's
so they
awesome.
would drive as many of them as they could out to us, then I'll load up like 4 people per cart and ride back in and get more carts and bring them back out. And
That's
to your
incredible.
point, that's just the staff out there.
Yep.
And I think it's kind of the culture in that area, and I love it. They are kind, they're generous,
Yes.
and they care. They know why you're there. You're not
Yep.
there for anything else. All that's there to do is play golf at Landman.
Yep.
It's not like Homer
Exactly.
is some tourist destination that
Yep.
people are coming to visit. But yeah, it is for the listeners. Y'all have probably heard me talk plenty of times about Landman and how great it is. And Derek has just shared another great example of why Landman is so great. But yeah, I hope we get to tee it up there together sometime soon. That would be a lot of fun. Just
Oh my God, absolutely, man. I really hope I can get another chance to get out there because it's just it's truly magical, you know. And like I said, heaven on earth. And you know, if anybody like looks at the photos on my Instagram of it, like that, it truly speaks to just like that view of feeling like you're on a different planet. And the sunsets there are something different.
yeah,
To be able to like capture some of those photos and you stay in that photo for a moment because you see for 40 miles across the horizon and it's nothing but a sea of red and orange cornfields that just envelope and envelope on and on. It really like just it's tough to like take you out of that moment. And it was really weird for me, like eclectically and like, you know, I don't know how religious people are, but it makes you feel like somewhere with another worldly power for sure.
yeah,
It's weird. You know, and some of the photos even beyond that of just like capturing other guys with the sun down. And you know, it was just so crazy to see that type of atmosphere and to be able to get some of those shots just felt so rewarding. Um, yeah,
I hope you do put them
really
on
great.
canvas because they're really, really good. I
Thank
mean,
you.
and even the sunsets, I've seen yours, but like just the sky out there at night, the stars you
Yes.
can see. I mean, it
Yeah.
because there's so little man-made light. I mean,
Yep.
it's the sky is something to behold once the
Yeah.
sun sets at Landmand.
Yep. And like even the sunset, like I know a lot of the guys that I met out there, you know, Scott Brooks for a PNW golfer,
Yeah,
like and another incredible guy behind a camera who's out there early shooting. And I think it was like last day, he was just buzzing around the property in a golf cart, like just taking photos and just like saying hi to everybody, like didn't even play, like was just like taking it all in. And like that, I loved that. The guy would just like empty cart, you know, cup of coffee and was just like just
right.
flying across the property. Like that was so cool to just like give him a wave like 4 tee boxes away
Yeah,
because we were that like he like I knew what he was doing. It was like so cool to see that. And you know, to meet guys like Trevor Larson with Power Built,
yeah,
um, you know, and talk shop around his clubs and is so incredible. And then like getting to just shoot the shit with all the gimme guys on the course for a few days was the second day I was out there with K2 and RSP and Jonesy and Chip and all these guys from Gimme. That it was like one. It was I keep saying I think it was the best day I've ever had on a golf course ever. We were laughing so hard, like my cheeks, my stomach hurt from laughing, like just like hilarious stuff. You know, like giving some of these jokers a camera who have no idea what they're doing. And like I'm like, I made it idiot proof. Just hold the button. And
right.
like the guy takes like 30 photos of his shoes because he had no idea what he was doing. Like we're dying laughing up there on tee boxes, you know. And then we get up there afterwards and we're all sitting around a table and to have, you know, Rob Collins come up and sit with us and just shoot the shit like he's just one of the guys.
Yeah,
It really made it feel like family. And just to have that atmosphere where again, all different walks of life, all different folks from different connections in the golf world too, to then meeting folks. You know, I mean, it was the first time I had met Robbie in person was at Landman this past year. Like
okay,
it was so cool to just like see all these different people and
yeah.
just to take it all in. It's really, really special place.
It really is. So, kind of in that same vein, if you had a dream for golf, it could be anything. What would your dream for golf be?
Well, Landman kind of took it, but no,
You could
man.
change a rule. You could have an experience. Anything.
Oh, hmm. Change a rule? Man, that's tough. Um, ugh. Like part of me wants to get huffiness out of golf in general.
Yeah.
I say this in the sense of um, it's tough. Like Waste Management this weekend was a tough watch.
Yep.
Um, I'm all for a vibe on a course, and I'm a big Hideki fan. I like Hideki.
I do too.
Watching him go through not once but twice getting backed off a ball from golfers was tough.
Mm-hmm.
It was like sad I
Yeah.
felt so bad for the
It was,
guy.
it was
Now, granted,
embarrassing.
it was embarrassing. In the fans' defense, he was not hitting the ball well, but again, it's just like, man, don't compound a player's
Right.
ability there. So, like, I want to say, like, remove the huffiness out of golf, but also at the same time, then it's like, well, when that happens, I almost want to shrink the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's tough for me. I'm always just like the type of golfers I want to just associate with are the guys that can really laugh off bad shots, and they're out there just to have a great time and be one with the course, one with the people they're with. So I don't know if I ever if it's necessarily a rule, but like my motto after like every Instagram post is always like peace, love, golf. Like just get out and enjoy life, enjoy the round. You don't know when it's going to be your last one. You don't know when your round with these folks could be your last. Like it's a really special feeling to get out on a golf course and have that ability for 4 or 5 hours out of your day to just be connected with nature, connected with friends, or maybe you go out by yourself and you just get connected with yourself a bit. It's special to like have that ability. And I am I love golf in foursomes and scrambles. And sometimes I like golfing by myself. It's nice to just like have a therapeutic experience through that. So for me, it's just like try to make the game better than how you found it. I think that would be my wish for golf.
I love that.
Leave the game better than how you found it.
Yeah, and that's something that just to echo that same sentiment, Matt Adamski, the GM at Sweetens, he always says treat it like a national park experience. Leave it better than you found it.
Yep.
And that's something I've thought a lot about just from the first time I heard him say it. I'm like, you know what? That actually can mean so many different things on multiple levels. It's not just picking up trash. It's how you treat the place and the people you're with and the entire experience. Don't ruin it for somebody else by being a complete jerk on the course like that. Just leave it better than you found it. So that's very well said.
Like right. I mean, Zen Golf.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a big book reader or if you've read Zen Golf.
I have not.
That it's a good read if you're into that. By a guy named Dr. Joe Parent, who's a psychologist. And it's more of a psychological, introspective look at yourself rather than a golf book. And I've read that probably 3 times. And it's the first time I read it, I was introduced by that through a guy named Eric Anders Lang, who runs Random Golf Club. He was a big inspiration also behind the visor. He was always a visor guy back in the day, and loved his approach to the golf world. And he is what introduced me to that Zen Golf book. And the moment I read it, I knew it changed my philosophy on and off the golf course entirely.
Wow.
It really did. It changed how I viewed the game. And I think in reality, it probably saved me 5-10 strokes off my game. In terms of how I felt and reacted and pursued my own style of the game. It really changed how I became a golfer. And I'm a golfer. I'm a dude who has a full-time job with an average Instagram and gets to golf on the weekends. Like that's what I consider me as a golfer.
Right.
So.
We're dads. We have kids. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have a life, but yeah, that like for a book to be able to do that for me was huge. And it changed it more so, even outside the golf world in just my everyday life. And if I ever feel myself like slipping back and I get back into like old habits or old ways, I always will go back through and like read some passages of that because it's a book you can pick up and skim to any page and start to like gravitate towards different mindfulness aspects. And it's just a good way of thinking. So,
Tyler Munz and I talked a lot about that actually, about letting him trying to play golf with a different mindset of not trying to be so hard on himself for a specific score. And it allowed him to actually play freer.
That's huge.
It makes sense.
And Tyler, and I know Tyler strictly through Instagram, and
him
and I talk a ton. Yeah. And him and I talk a ton. He sent me a ton of visors. Like he bought some of mine. Like he's such a great dude. And I think he's got an incredible golf swing and he is an absolute gamer. And I think when you get to that level, you become a bit more hard on yourself and you
Mhm.
want to meet a certain standard and criteria of golf, you
Right.
know, and it becomes a bit challenging and you get a bit rigid and um robotic in your approach to the game. And
Mhm.
when you can take away that mental load and aspect of needing to be like less or less hard on yourself, it allows you to be free.
Right.
So
Right.
that's huge.
Well, and we had another guest, a friend, Heidi Kraft. She played in college, and in college, she fell out of love with the game because she was supposed to be playing it and practicing it so frequently.
Burnout.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I can totally understand that. I don't know that I would ever get to that point, but it's like there's a weird thing with me whenever I'm playing. I have to start off playing well to then try and lock in. I'm never going to step onto the first tee and be like, "Okay, today I'm shooting 76." Like that's
Yep.
just not in my DNA. I'm not built that way.
Yep.
I'm not that guy. But if I'm playing well, and that's when I'm like, I'm going to look at somebody and be like, "Hey, we're making the turn. Do not tell me what I shot. I know that I'm playing well. I don't want to know because if I know, I'm going to fall apart."
Then you
Like,
implode. Yeah.
yeah, the house of cards.
Yep.
And so it's funny all of the different mental approaches to this game. Now, obviously, if it's a member guest or some kind of tournament, then you hope to
Yeah.
show up somewhat locked in. But yeah, for me, it's all about just like the hang
Yep.
and going and try. If I shoot a great score, great. More likely than
Yeah.
not, I'm going to owe somebody a T-shirt because that's typically my bet is like a T-shirt or a hat because none of us need to Venmo each other back and forth. Let
Yep.
me buy you something from the pro shop and you just demoralize me by saying, "Hey, I'm ready to go into the shed and and get a hat. Let's go pick that out." And you
Yep.
drop your credit card down. Um, what would be a dream visor collaboration for you?
Sugarloaf.
Okay.
I mean, without a doubt. Sugarloaf would be huge. I would love for that to happen. I think I think Ian knows that like I am such a Sugarloaf fanboy and and I just love what they do. They're just such a good company. Like they've been up to St. Louis to see Gimme. I know Kyle is super close with Ian. Um and just hearing like his background, how he kind of like formed Sugarloaf and I've just followed him through that journey. Like that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Like all of mine like was kind of through Imperial, so I don't want to say it was a collab with them, but them doing it was really neat. I think it would be awesome to do something with like Live Forever Golf.
Yeah.
Those guys have I have a discount code with those guys, so it's really cool to like stay kind of in touch with them through social media and just like talking with them of them representing and appreciating the visor. I think is really, really cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some other ones out there that would be really cool. I just don't know if I'm like uh ready for something of that magnitude.
Right.
I'm a man of the people. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I like to keep it to the guys who love the visor aesthetic, especially because it's not for everybody. Not everybody likes to rock them. So I like being the humble visor guy out here. Trying to sling golf shots, throw visors around, and share the underappreciated look of years past.
I love that. That's really good. Well, hopefully we can make at least there's a commercial right there for the Sugarloaf collab, right?
Yeah, there we
Like
go.
we got to cut that out and be like, "Hey guys, here you go. Derek,
Yep.
Sugarloaf Derek. Hey, you can find him in your purchase history. He's bought a lot from you
Right, I
guys."
know. There's been a lot. Yeah. I will say too, I knew it got bad because Sam Stammy, who was with Sugarloaf, I don't know if he's still there. He was doing media and content for him. He was in town shooting for Sugarloaf, and I talked to him. I was like, "Yo, man, like I had reached out the other day. Like I had posted on my story, like, hey, does anybody have the Sugarloaf Real Tree visor?" I was like, I've been trying to find one. They're sold out. And literally, he messaged me on Instagram. He was like, "Hey, I just put one on the site if you want to grab it." I was like, yeah, like as soon as like that happened, I was like, "Oh my god, I got a bad habit now.
Yeah, we might have a problem.
Might have a problem." So it's tough. Like again, I could have way worse vices. I'd much rather have this collection of silly headwear that I can keep wearing, you know, and then, you know, my wife can bury me with all of them.
Right.
Uh,
Derek, this has been a lot of fun. It has been a pleasure talking with you tonight.
yeah, you as well, man. This has been great. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk shop around visors, talk my page, talk Landmand. You know, I'd love to hop on and talk more with you guys. And you know, talk more maybe in the world of golf, PGA show, upcoming stuff that's going on. I know I would love to get down to like PGA show next year and
Yeah.
see maybe what's up in the world of golf, what's happening, what's new and whatnot. So would love to talk more with you and get you up to St. Louis too to check out Gimme, check out some of the muni golf and other spots we've got around here. There's a lot of good golf to be had in St. Louis. It's a slept on spot.
Yeah, we will make that happen sooner rather than later. Derek, thank you again. This has been a lot of fun. For Tour Visor Vibes, Derek Lanxon, I am Josh Decker, and this has been another episode of Off the Deck.